welcome to a special edition of the RHMax show. I am Max, your host. Just thought I'd introduce myself if you haven't came across my content before. Today, PulseChain could launch at any moment. It's going to be the running joke forever. You guys know that. It's coming. It's close, right? It's so close. It's so close. I have some memes I haven't shared yet. I got some cool memes on the closeness of stuff that I'll be putting on Twitter. If you're not following, feel free. If you like memes and valuable information, never will forget Dixon Piper saying you should either be informative or funny. That's how you create value on social media and stuff. So never will forget that. Dixon Piper coming on the show Friday. Speaking of him, so don't miss that one. Should be a good one, as it always is with him. But today we have Jake Sharpe. He is back. He's back in the house. He's found his tan, and he's ready to talk about PulseX because Rich just saw it this morning. Actually, I don't know when Richard tweeted it, but I saw it just maybe 30 minutes ago. The buy and burn. We have buy and burn, so maybe we'll throw that up and look at it for a minute. And among a bunch of other things, I mean, PulseChain. I haven't talked to Jake for a couple months now, I think, on stream, and a lot of stuff's happened since then. So I'm excited to get into it. Real quick though, let's look at the chat. A lot of awesome people in here. Kaiser, good to see you again. Good to see you. It's been a while. Kaiser, I think Kaiser used to clip a lot of the stuff, especially a lot of the Hedron stuff, and put on Twitter. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, good to see you again. Chad Thomas, Chad thumbnail. I'm telling you, it's a good thumbnail, right? I thought it was a pretty cool thumbnail. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the thumbnails as well. So, but your avatar / thumbnail right there. That's pretty Chad of yourself. So that's we got a high bar for the Chads. Yeah, crazy news about Cash App founder. I saw that this morning. So, yeah, rest in peace on that one. Hope everything's okay there. But yeah, watch out there if you live in cities that have a lot of crime. Vets, good to see you. Good to see you. Somebody say guns out, sums out. All right. There's some math stuff. We got to get some math going on today. Jake lots of math, so we'll see. We might get some quick maths. Hex about to pump. I don't know. We'll talk about it though. It could pump at any moment, just like PulseChain launching, right? You never know. Unless you do TA and go off of that type of analysis. Right of stream at will. I think we strive to help the ecosystem. We strive to do that. Rockets from Oystein Larson. Sounds very Northern European, or we got Nordic. So welcome. Lovely part of the world. Love that place. Found you on Twitter, gave you a follow, Chad. Yeah, Chad is on Twitter. Yeah, make sure you follow Chad. What's up, A-Bit? Welcome. Greetings, I'm Andreas. Godfather J6. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. We're gonna try to make it that way. We're certainly gonna try to make it that way. Hexpimp. I haven't seen that name before. I like that. Hexpedition. We got Patrice. Welcome, Patrice. Good to see you. Axis Alive. Axis Alive is in the house. Shout out to Axis. I'm gonna do a Furu. Are you following Axis Alive? You should be. I love when Furu does that. When I show up, he does it. It's pretty fun. Anyways, Hex Glenn, welcome everyone. We'll leave it on A-Bit's muscles. Without further ado, welcome back to the show, Jake Sharpe. How's it going?
Yo, everything good? Excited.
777. I haven't seen any in the chat yet. Let's get it.
I just posted it.
Oh, okay. They're coming. Their army is on their way. Okay, nice. Yep. What's been going on, man? I tell everyone, yeah, it feels like it's been a long time. I mean, 2 months or 6 weeks, whatever it's been in crypto is like a year or two. So like, how you been, man? How's things going?
Good. Everything's been good, man. It's just the prophecy has come through. I think the bottom is still in November 2022. In case anybody missed it, I called the bottom on the day publicly on YouTube 2 months in advance. On the day. So Richard had the top, I had the bottom. Oof. And I still think the bottom is in. And one of the indicators that a bear market bottom is officially in. So you have historical timing analysis. 1 year from previous cycle top, which was the November 7 to 11. 4 years from previous cycle bottom, which was December 12, 2022. November 7 to 11, you usually put in a bottom. And then by December 12th, you kind of get some confirmation that was the bottom. But it's not 100% sure yet. What 100% solidifies the bottom in crypto is 1 year until the next Bitcoin halving. That 1 year until the next Bitcoin halving is within the next 2 to 4 weeks. So if we get to the next 2 to 4 weeks without putting in a new bottom on Bitcoin, the crypto bottom is solidified. I'm calling it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, It's you want to talk about the macro environment real quick too, because I feel like a lot of things are just super, and especially in the States and stuff, all the collapses of the banks and all that going on. Has that threw a wrench into like, can we properly like know what's going on now? Because it seems a little bit different than it's ever been before. What do you think?
Well, that's the thing. That's always like that. This time is different, but it's never been different. So I'm sticking to this time will be the same. This time will not be different. I'm going to start talking more about it, but it's this idea that a lot of the news and a lot of the macro stuff, yes, it matters. The Fed matters, but then a lot of it is theatrics. Crypto is a massively small asset class. So crypto is $1 trillion on paper. Here's something mind-blowing for people. I think this is starting the stream off a banger. So the crypto market cap is $1 trillion. Did you know that for every new dollar that goes into Bitcoin, $10 gets added to its market cap? Did you know that every new dollar that goes into Hex, $1,000 gets added to its market cap? Have you ever noticed in Hex when somebody buys like 100 grand, the market cap goes up by like 100 million? So there's this difference, right?
Crazy.
So if that is true and the Hex market cap can go up by like $1 billion by somebody buying $1 million, is crypto actually $1 trillion is crypto actually $1 trillion asset class, or is it like $100 billion or 150 or $200 billion? So I think crypto works so predictably because it's 100% retail driven. There's not institutional money, well, not on scale yet in the markets. There's not enough manipulation. There's no like the derivatives, like the whole paper trading and the whole stock market thing. I hate the stock market. I think it's corrupt as hell. And I think we're going to get 2 more of the exact same cycle playouts until 2028, 2029. And then most of the gains in crypto are going to be gone. And it's going to still outperform the stock market. With crypto, man, the next 2 cycles is where you make it big. This is the opportunity. And now coming back to the idea that crypto is only a $150 billion kind of asset class because of liquidity pools, it becomes very predictable. Because if it's a retail-driven market, it's an emotion-driven market. Because retail is just emotions and they operate on emotions. So the 4-year cycle is just an emotion cycle.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to emotions at the end of the day. Amazing. Well, so you're calling the bottom, or you've called you're very confident in the bottom call from last November. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And then, okay, so take us where we go from here for the market. You think are we just up from here? Do you think we got to wait till 2024? Do you think they'll be up and down? What do you think?
Good point. Good question. So what usually happens is in a bear market, you put in a bottom, then you kind of operate within a range for like 2 years. You put in a bottom, you have a pump, then you kind of retest the bottom. So we could potentially go back down to 19K Bitcoin. And then the moment you retest that bottom, which is not a given, it's like a 50% chance, then it's all breaks loose bull market. I don't think this time is going to be different. So we have roughly 8 more months of the sideways bear market. Now, stuff like Hex, PLS, PLSX can still pump because new ecosystems to completely decorrelate from the market. But then imagine this. We have an ecosystem pump with the PulseChain mainnet announcement. Hex goes up. Hex does a 3x in like a 2 to 3 week window. We go from 7 to 9 cents to 21 to 28 cents. PulseChain launches. By that time, we're close to the official bull run starting. We're getting closer to that 1 year from the bottom, kind of all breaks loose bull market. PulseChain launches, we're decorrelated. We have a mini bull run, and then the official bull run starts, and we all get rich. Sounds like a good plan.
Ooh. Yeah, can we write that down and set it in stone and make it a contract? Can somebody sign that contract and make sure it happens? Execute it. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yep. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's the biggest question in my mind these days with the markets is, I mean, macros and all that stuff aside, when PulseChain launched, we've been talking about this forever. I believe there would be a mini bull run. I think it just makes sense that there's all this money getting unlocked, all kinds of people interested. It's the only thing going on in crypto that's positive. Is there any way for it not to happen? Like, once PulseChain is launched, PulseX is out there, people start trading. Is it even possible to go like much lower, or is it just kind of like we're going to kind of hover a little bit and then go up from there into the next bull run? How do you feel about that?
Pretty much. I think it's going to be relatively clean, like in the first 2 to 4 weeks. So I think PulseChain kind of has its own thing. I don't think the PulseChain chart can be compared to anything. I do think the PulseX chart can be compared to the Ethereum chart at launch. So Ethereum, the ICO of Ethereum was 31 cents. It launched at $3, so it launched at a 10x. Then it dropped down to 41 cents over the next 68 days, put it at the bottom, and then it did a 14,000x run. Now, am I saying that PulseChain will do a 14,000x? I don't think so, because the sacrifice was relatively big. But could it do a 200x plus? Hell yeah. And I think none of us are complaining with the 200x. But that being said, I think PulseChain has this very interesting kind of thing where I don't think any chart will compare to it, because you have a lot of capital ready sitting in PLSX that is going to be deployed into PulseChain. A lot of people went into the PulseX sacrifice with the sole intention of dumping it for Pulse. And everybody's like, yeah, but everybody is in the know. I don't think so. The amount of people that actually are in the know and actually watch content and are educating themselves is maybe like 3 to 5% of the sacrifice set. So most people will just operate off of emotions. So you have a massive amount of capital sitting ready in PLSX to be deployed towards PLS. You have a massive amount of institutions and VCs that couldn't get into the PulseChain seed round because it was a sacrifice and an official kind of legal seed round or whatever. And then you have 2 years of hype being built up to PulseChain. So PulseChain will have a rocket-style launch. But PulseX, on the other hand, I think that will look like the Ethereum chart, where we're very likely going to go down, retest the sacrifice rate within the first 20 to 40 days, and then at that point start to run. And I think PulseX will perform very similarly to PulseChain. So, can I go on a rant? I think this is helpful.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the way I look at PulseChain and PulseX, so many of the variables among them are the same. I don't look at them as two separate projects. Same founder, same community, very similar buy pressure. Then you have very similar tokenomics. They're both deflationary or going to end up being deflationary. The only difference is PulseX has the buy and burn. So if so many of the variables on them are the same, we can assume that the price performance is going to be the same, just over different time frames. So if PulseChain goes on to do 100x, it's pretty much guaranteed in my book that PulseX will do 100x as well from the bottom, or sacrifice rate, whatever you want to calculate it. So if that is true, and they're both doing 100x over different time periods, then the only thing that matters is where you buy. If you buy PulseChain on the pump and you buy it at a 10x from sacrifice price and it goes on to do 100x, that's only a 10x from your buy-in point. But if you have the opportunity of buying PulseX at a 1 to 3x from sacrifice price, well, now you have a 33 to 100x to the same target. So the thing that matters most is not the total price performance of a project. What matters most is the price performance from your entry. And I think a lot of people need to start thinking like that.
Yeah, that's a question I want to get into too, is how do you... There's so many people that unfortunately will sabotage themselves one way or another, whether it's ratio trading, whether it's, they're just not everyone is going to become a millionaire from Hex, from PulseChain, from PulseX. But obviously these two are the ones that are coming up, stuff's getting unlocked, people can actually do something with it. How do they avoid being that statistic? How do they avoid, how do they get in the 1% versus 99% of people who are, maybe they just sacked, let's say they sacked enough. They sacked maybe 10K, maybe they sacked 1K. That we're going to toss it up in the air whether we do 10,000X or not. And everyone gets rich when they sack 1K, but let's say they sack 10, 20, 50, 100K, whatever. How do they avoid sabotaging that wealth that can come from those type of numbers?
I think everything comes down to expectations. Yeah, I think everything just comes down to expectations. A lot of people sell too early into a bull run because they don't know what to expect. For example, if you go, let's say you go to a swimming pool and it's your first time swimming, because it's a lot of people that first cycle. A lot of people got in at the bull run top, the previous top, and now they've just been educating and kind of redeploying in the bear market or dollar cost averaging. That's a big subset of people, because every cycle top brings in so many damn people. And let's say you go into the swimming pool for the first time and somebody tells you, okay, once you go in the swimming pool and you've never swam before, it's going to be very easy. And if you don't get it within the first 10 seconds, something is wrong. If you go into the swimming pool trying to swim with the expectation that you're going to get it in 10 seconds, you're going to end up wrecking yourself. But if somebody tells you, hey, you're going to go in the swimming pool for the first 2 hours, you're probably going to be struggling. You're probably going to go under the water. You're going to have to catch your breath. You're probably going to have to drown. But after a while, you'll be fine. If you go into the swimming pool then and you don't learn how to swim in 10 seconds, it's fine because you set the right expectations going in. Bringing this back to crypto, I think in the bull market, a lot of people don't understand full bull cycles. So the bull market top will very likely be in between December 2024 and 150 days from that point. Should be roughly the zone of the bull market top, which is 5 months after December. So between December and May, the next bull market top will very likely be in. Kind of 12 to 14,000 Ethereum, 120,000 Bitcoin-ish. Definitely don't listen to the $1 million Bitcoin dudes. And
You don't have that
if you
trillionaire
go
energy.
into it, yep. And if you go into it expecting that you're going to be in the market until at least December 2024, do you actually really care what happens before that point? If it does 100x before that point, okay, yeah, you can take a little bit of profit because that's kind of the golden zone. The first 100x of any crypto is the golden zone. If you've experienced the first 100x, you've experienced 80% of the gains. Because if it's done 100x, if it does another 10x from that point, you enter 1000x. Now, betting on 1000x is very hard. Betting on a 10,000x is even harder. So when you look at the hex chart from all-time low, the all-time low of hex, there's only $3,000 to $5,000 of buy pressure that came in on the all-time low of hex. So there's only $3,000 that could have potentially experienced a 10,000x, and a lot of them probably sold. So they probably just experienced a 10x and then they exited. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe selling too early and the cycles. I was going to ask too on ladders. Is that a sort of thing where like how do you know where to take profit? Is it like 10x certain percentage, 50x certain percentage, 100x certain percentage, and then you have the moon bag that you leave for the 10,000x? How do you think about those laddering profit? Maybe it's not even about selling either. By the way, everyone, you don't have to sell. There's other products that can help you do other things besides sell, and or market sell. There's LP. There's loan type products, stuff like that. So how do you think about taking profit?
Yeah, if you're a whale, you should definitely look at taking profits through liquidity providing, single-sided liquidity providing on Uniswap, and essentially letting the market run through you for you to exit. I'm not a fan of crypto loans at all. So
what are the pros and cons of that? Just curious. How do you think about that?
The biggest lesson that people need to take away from this bear market is that one by one, every single one of the people that got wrecked the hardest are all the ones that leveraged up on crypto through crypto loans. So if you want to learn from all the bloodbath that happened in this bear market, one of the common denominators is they took out crypto loans to then deploy it back into the market and they leveraged up their position. And then it entered the bear market and everybody got wrecked. Even 1,000% collateral ratio will save nobody. Like PulseChain and PulseX, they will go down 95% in the next bear market. Every first cycle altcoin goes down 95% in the first kind of bear market cycle that they go through. And for everybody thinking like I'm saying at launch, no, I'm talking like end of 2025, 2026-ish. We're going to have a massive run before that point. The first cycle altcoins correction, 95% is relatively normal. And for the people that don't believe that, look at Hex. So Hex went up to roughly 52 cents and then corrected all the way down to 1.7. That's a 98% correction. Now here's a little bit more to add to the fire. There was $1 billion of sellable Hex taken off the market through the sacrifice wallets that was not sold. So that's $1 billion of sell pressure removed during a bear market. And it still did a 98% correction. So a lot of people think they're going to be safe with crypto loans if they put 1,000% collateral, like for instance on an Earn protocol or liquid loans. Earn protocol is for PLSX, liquid loans is for PLS. That's not going to save anybody. And then always when I say this, I like Jesse, by the way, but he's always like, yeah, but it's a stop loss. I'm like, dude, if somebody gets liquidated at a 95% down bear market bottom, it's not a stop loss. They got liquidated. Yeah, so I would not recommend people to do crypto loans at all.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're one of the few people who would give that, would say that as well, because that's something that, all the benefits you can talk about too is, hey, you don't have to market sell, you can pay it back, there may be no interest, all this stuff, but you're saying that you got to be careful with them because, when things inevitably go down a lot, if you're not properly collateralized, or even if you think you have enough, you just got to be careful with the numbers and stuff at least. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and everybody can talk about all of these fairy tale scenarios where everybody uses it perfectly. Nobody will use it perfectly. And then also what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to take out a loan and then they're going to buy some more crypto with it. And that's exactly how 3 Arrows Capital, $1 billion player, got liquidated this bear market. So if people think they're smarter than 3 Arrows Capital, be my guest.
Well, you got to ask them when they're doing good, not right now. They look, all the ones that went bankrupt look bad now. But yeah, no, totally get your point.
Yep.
But yeah, laddering. Sorry, I kind of asked you to go on a tangent on that one because it was so interesting to me. I always like to hear these various opinions. But laddering, how do people, or how do you think about taking profit? Number of X's, number of percentages, stuff like that.
So if you have an ICO style entry into a project, the first 100x you can take big chunk of profit because that's the golden zone. And then the second thing is timing analysis. In my opinion, you just want to generate yield. So with PulseChain is validation, with PulseX single site staking, with Hex staking, Ethereum staking, other projects have staken as well. Just generate yield, compound that yield into the positions, try to not sell at all until you hit the bull run top if you want to maximize this bull run. And December 2024, you can start thinking about dollar cost averaging out your entire portfolio over like 150 days at that point. And then you just sit in stablecoins and generate stablecoin yield. So this is a dangerous thing. So when I say stable yield, like we're able to generate 12 to 35% a year just purely on stablecoins, the pure DeFi way, immutable, no admin keys. Because when a lot of people talk about stable yield, they talk about FTX Earn or Binance Earn on exchange earn programs or Anchor Protocol from Luna and all of that stuff. Those are all red flags. If you want to do the stable yield correctly, you want to do it operating through first principles. No admin key, immutable, your keys, your coins. Smart contract risk mitigated by a protocol that has been live for a year and has never been hacked, etc., etc. So once you take profits on the bull run top, you basically just want to go in stables, generate yield, and then wait a year and a half to start redeploying again. And it's going to test your will. But that's kind of how the cycles work.
Yeah, I could just, I said this the other day too, I could just never see myself being fully out. I know there's certain milestones and hit certain things, but it's like never sell your money printer type of thing. Like I could, maybe get out 80%, maybe get out 50%, whatever it is. But, those 5, even with PulseChain, so we think about Hex in 5, 10, 15-year terms because that's the staking lengths. And we know that we can maximize yield and all that amazing stuff with it. With PulseChain and PulseX, you think, because natively, we don't have the time lock feature, but there's ways to make yield, LP, you can earn incentive token, you can maybe use community protocols, all that stuff. But do you think in 5 or 10 years, do you see it being like, will a lot of the gains be gone? A lot of people be gone at that point? Will it be, how do you look at these protocols for the next, in the 2020s? What are we going to be doing in 2023? Is it just going to be focused on Hex again? Or you think PulseChain and PulseX are going to take over some parts of the market?
I like deflationary assets over inflationary assets. But that's kind of my investment thesis. I love deflationary stuff. Just from like a simple supply and demand kind of thing. Hex is interesting because it's locked away inflation and the demand goes up faster than the inflation by a good amount because it's such a strong community and such a strong outreach kind of mechanism within the community. So Hex is one of these weird cases where inflation is actually kind of good because it's locked away inflation and the demand outpaces the supply increase. And you have this away entity. But then I'm just a bigger fan of deflationary assets. I mean, look at PLSX. It's built in buy pressure. People get yield, not through the token inflating and giving it to user. They get yield on other tokens, meaning that the sell pressure that normally comes from yield coming from inflation now becomes the opposite. People get paid in other coins, and we can assume that they're going to sell these other coins for stuff that they like. And because they're in single-site staking pools with PLSX, we can assume that they'll sell the stuff they don't like for the stuff that they like. And because they own PLSX, we can assume they become buy pressure instead of sell pressure. So the yield actually becomes buy pressure. You have built-in buy pressure from the protocol. For every $1 billion in volume, $600,000 of that gets bought on the market and burned, and there's zero inflation. So it's a deflationary asset with built-in buy pressure and yield that does not hurt the price performance, but actually helps it because most of the community will be buy pressure from the yield that they generate. I like that thesis a lot more than I do Hex. I like Hex, don't get me wrong. I just think PulseX is a beast in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, the tokenomics of PulseX, especially the buy and burn, which I'll pull up here in a moment. I wanted to ask one question on that, though, because you raised something very interesting about maybe selling the other tokens. Do you think a lot of the other the third-party tokens and things that people are going to be earning, do you think they're going to go back into the blue chips, like PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, or are there going to be huge communities formed around them, or is it literally just a buy? Is that the buy pressure on PulseX as well? And the less sell pressure, is it that kind of like magic combination? What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I like it because also for these other protocols that give a percentage of their supply to the single site staking pools to give it to PulseX stakers, it's good for them as well because it's a great way to get market exposure, and it's just kind of like a marketing cost by giving away a percentage of their supply to get an initial user base. Now, people have to be careful. The type of projects that do this usually are not good at marketing, which is why they have to give away supply in order to drive demand, which usually means the team sucks at marketing. And usually they don't have public founders as well because they suck at marketing. If you have a public founder, it's relatively easy to market. So yeah, they just become blind pressures for PulseX, unless they have some kind of like very unique mechanism or whatever.
Yeah, the distribution model for letting you have to participate in the pools to earn this token is very interesting, and we see a ton of rug pulls around. Like I think on BSC, it's like famous for all these like rug pulls around. Oh, let's just do this token. It has this theme, and yeah, there's no founder, there's no like marketing strategy. It's just like, yeah, let's do this coin. Maybe it'll be worth something, and then people turn around and everything's you can't sell like the contract, or there's all kinds of like crazy ways contracts go. Oh, you can't sell unless this thing and all that stuff. So hopefully we don't have as much on that on PulseChain, but we're gonna have a lot of people coming, right? Like there's gonna be people like they smell the money, right? They smell the money, new product, crazy yield, crazy features. Like why wouldn't people come to the ecosystem like that? It's I don't know why they wouldn't come over and start doing their pulls here.
Exactly. There's some great people in the chat, man. Have you seen I just see Westcott Crypto, man. His music video clips are awesome. I've seen them pass by on Twitter.
Shout out to Westcott. Yes, I can't. It's like every day I watch a new one that I've never seen before. I can't like if you haven't subbed to Westcott Crypto, he makes some amazing. I don't know what you call them, not renditions, parodies. A lot. I mean, it's original content. It's just other songs and stuff. The Backstreet Boys. He onboarded me with the Backstreet Boys ones. I want my PulseX. He onboarded me with that one. Hilarious guy. Awesome. Oh, great asset.
Old bangers.
Dude, he does. Like he takes the cool songs. Like what was the one I was watching yesterday? The I can't believe I forgot the name of it, but it was like an oldies song. But he did it. He with the Windy O one. That was great. Anyways, sorry Westcott for not remembering all the names. Let me know in the chat and I'll shout it out again. But appreciate seeing you, man. I know chat's going nuts. Everyone, share the stream and tag us on Twitter if you want to even more people in here, so I can get to less of your comments. I guess that's the incentive for that. But we're gonna get into. Let's see. Have you heard of Tetra, by the way? It's like a DeFi automation.
Yeah, deal. I don't like that stuff. So with the whole
okay.
DeFi automation, it's basically adding attack factors on attack factors on attack factors. I don't like automation at all. Automation is great in business, but in crypto, you don't want anything automating your wallet unless you want to automate yourself into a smart contract hack. I stay away from all the automation. I don't like it. Is it a cool idea? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that are cool ideas. I don't like it.
Kind of like Ethereum, the attack surface. It's like you're opening yourself up to. If you don't do it correctly, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Okay. I mean, I don't know much about it yet. I know a lot of people in the community are high on it. I think I got a founder coming on coming on open mic, I believe, next Wednesday, I want to say, or something like that, or 100% of time, one of those. But anyways, I'm gonna find out more about it. But definitely got to be careful with. It's not about the project. It's not, for me, in my opinion, not about the technology itself. It's about if it enables people to shoot themselves in the foot. Hopefully, there's some ways that we can do innovation without it being like the smart contracts in 2017 thing. So I certainly hope I'll learn more about it and see.
There's no way to know, because there's been so many good teams, quote unquote, that have lost hundreds of millions of dollars because of a smart contract exploitation, that have gotten audited. So the rule is kind of don't touch stuff until it's around for 1 year. Or it's a fork of an existing thing and they didn't change the code and that thing got audited and has a year of runtime. You don't want to be a beta tester in crypto.
That's something that even with, I think a lot of people, Maximus perpetuals, people are like, oh, why is this stuff at a discount? Some of the perps are at discount. And I think, I've heard other people talk about this as well, that it's new stuff. A lot of and I say institutional, I don't know how else to describe them. A lot of the whales, maybe, I guess you'd say, they're, hey, we got a big bag. We see the value, we see all that stuff, but we're not trying to be early. So maybe that's a message to get your perpetuals before price goes up at some point that the community is sending, assuming there's no bugs or anything over the next year or two. Even Hedron, a lot of people love Hex, have Hex, maybe they haven't been in their Hedron. A lot of us with that too, because they're. I mean, I guess it's a little bit different than actually swapping your coin for that. So there's a little, it's less risk there, obviously. But the point is, new products, especially if you're locking up millions of dollars in it and stuff like that, people are going to wait. There won't be early adopters for everything.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like if you like, for instance, if you now have 50 grand in the market, as long as you're not in Bitcoin and Ethereum, a 50x portfolio wide is relatively normal. So if you have 50 grand in the market, you're not sitting on 50 grand. You're sitting on, we actually do the math, 50 times 50. You're sitting on $2.5 million. Do you really want to risk $2.5 million to save 13 seconds or click a few buttons? Automation is useless. I don't like it in crypto.
I'm going to talk to Stu and find out more, but to have a more informed opinion on it.
I mean, people, that's the thing. I have nothing against Stu. It's just I don't let the founders impact my decision making. It's just you kind of have to take the object and you have to take the founder, pull the founder away. Does the object have merit in and of itself? Look at the object. Because somebody can build a gun that explodes on the first shots and kills the person shooting it. They can have the best intention of being a great founder and being a great gun designer, but if the gun kills the user, I don't care about the founder. It's the object. That's the thing.
You got 3 guns coming to mind right now. Yes, be careful out there, everyone. I was going to ask, so would you say the exception would be Richard? Or like, if Richard came out with a product and you're like, I don't like this, would you still get into it because of the founder? Is he the exception, or do you still think you wouldn't?
It's interesting. It depends on what the fork is from. So PulseX single site staking, I trust because it's a fork of stuff that has been around for a very long time and they didn't change the code. So the code is battle tested. It's new ideas that I'm very, very, very wary of. Or new ideas where they change the code a little bit, because a little bit of code change, one wrong word, and you open up a new exploitation. Yeah, the thing that Richard understands this very well. He only forks existing stuff that has been battle tested, and there's a reason he's forking Ethereum 2.0 and not Solana, because Ethereum 2.0 is battle tested and Solana is basically, man, a piece of trash. It's down more than it's up. Like there's this running joke on Solana where like they should put opening hours on their website.
Hey, that's it's amazing. Like the first time I saw Solana go down, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is something Richard can take advantage of and say, it's 100% uptime, all this stuff. Second time was like, whoa, like okay, maybe it can go down twice, whatever. It was becoming a regular thing, and I'm like, what is going on? Is this like I was giving you all the benefit of the doubt internally, like why would I promote it otherwise? I'm in RH stuff, but internally I was like, yeah, stuff has downtime every once in a while, but you keep doing it over and over and over, your users may have a reason to switch over to something else. Like that's a little too much.
Yep.
Try to think from first principles. I don't always do the marketing angle. I mean, I guess naturally I did the first principles angle, and then I do the marketing as needed. But like with Solana, I can't help you, Solana. I can't help you. Just scrolling real quick. I want to make sure I get to the chat. I'm just going to pick like one question. We'll go on to some of the other stuff, especially PulseX. I definitely want to get into that. Let's see. Chat's getting a little spicy. You got them triggered on Tetra a little bit, and liquid loans. You get both of them today. You triggered both of them. So I mean, I think we need opinions. I think various opinions help us think about all the angles and come to even better conclusions, regardless of which way. So I welcome diversity of opinions for sure.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's the whole Richard Hart approach. So there's this saying where I'll tell you the truth even if you hate me for it. I'm taking that stance. And a lot of the stuff I say hurts my own bags, but I don't care.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people that they don't want to. I don't know. Like you're like, oh, why don't you talk about this or talk about that publicly, and they just maybe it would hurt the bag, maybe it would hurt moves coming up. But for me, I don't know. I prioritize the community over a lot of stuff. Like I think there'll be enough money to go around where I don't need to have a lot of secrets around like strategies and stuff. It's like there's enough money. Like I'd rather help other people than be like, oh no, I'm gonna make 10% more if I never tell anyone about this and tell other people not to. I don't. It doesn't seem like the ROI is right there.
Yeah, dude. This is kind of like I wrote this down, so I type a lot of notes to myself. And there was one I typed today. It's a lot of people look at crypto as a side thing. They have their main thing, and then crypto is the side thing. Is the thing that they kind of throw a little bit of money into, and then they just forget about it. But over time, people have to realize crypto is a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially something like PulseChain. PulseChain only launches once. People act like they have a couple times to do this right. It only launches once. One time. That's it. And a lot of people need to start thinking like that, because one wrong move, like in crypto, like for instance, if you're one button click away from wrecking yourself from being a millionaire. If you sold Hex as sub penny, that's one button click. That's 2-second decision making. That 2 seconds cost you millions of dollars. Now I'm not a Hex OG. I wish I was. My fuck god. But I'm not. I made some good money on Hex because I bought the bottom around 1 point. I think my average cost entry was 2.4 cents.
Wow.
And it's pretty good. And that was based on the cycles, man. It's just timing analysis over everything. Like in crypto, everything is pretty much theatrics. News doesn't matter. Twitter doesn't matter. All of it doesn't matter. It's just you focus on the things that you know do well. Timing analysis has always worked for me. It served me well, so I'm sticking to it. And that's also how I called the bottom on the day. It's just all timing analysis. Now, what did I say before that? Because I was kind of going off topic.
Shoot, I can't think off the top of my head. I was trying to look for questions in here.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. I'll get this one real quick because I don't know why I can't read chat very well today. But Jake, do you know how to write programs? We can put that one up there.
Yes, I do. I used to be a software engineer for like 5 years.
There you go. I'm going to parlay that into, I'm going to drop my link in case anyone wants to be a PulseChain validator. I just finished up a script that does famously, from my tweet now, 85% of what you need to do estimated. So I'll just drop it in. Anyone interested in being a validator, feel free to check it out. And then we'll go on to the next. What's up, Sloth? Welcome.
Manderson, yeah. The boys. The boys are in the chat.
What specifically, Jake? Tell us what programs.
Didn't the chatbot? I don't know.
Chatbot? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Me
and Jake have talked about dev stuff before in a couple other streams. If you want to search for RHMax, Jake Sharpe, we've covered a little bit on that too. But today we want to focus on PulseChain. If anyone wants to be a validator, feel free. David Feeder has a script. I think he was the first one to come out with a script. And then who else? I think Togosh and a few other people in the community. Gamma has all the stuff on his website as well. And this is something I worked on from Ethereum testnet for a couple months ago. And then I want to convert it to PulseChain testnet once V3 came out. And then I've been working tirelessly on it the last week or two. Finally got it. I was like, I'm comfortable releasing it. I feel like it's going to work. I've tested it a few times. So everyone else, if you want to participate in that kind of stuff, there you go. It can help you a lot. I think it helped me a lot.
I knew what I was going to say.
Okay.
So a lot of people treat crypto like this extra thing, but people have to realize, so I recently joined a new kind of network, and there's a world-renowned crypto teacher in there. Dude, it's laughable. You know what their strategy is? And this is a world-renowned crypto teacher. Buy 95% Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then 5% put in Cardano, and that's it. That's an entire game plan. So, man, crypto is interesting because crypto you can. So there's this saying from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says that. So this is Warren Buffett, the number one investor in the entire world. He says that diversification is essentially BS. He says that diversification is a hedge against ignorance. If you know what you're doing, you shouldn't be diversified. And I'm a very, very big believer in that. Because what a lot of people teach is you have 100 grand, okay, put 10 grand here, 10 grand here, 10 grand here, 10 grand here. The issue with that is over an entire bull run, you might do a 5 to 7x, which is good, but it's not life-changing. Even if you go in with 100 grand, it's like 500 to 700 grand-ish. If you want to reach the 50 to 120x targets, I mean, there's a lot of people with a lot of money in this chat. Let's say you have 200 grand to deploy. And you have the opportunity of either starting a business, because after a certain amount of money, and I would say that's roughly 250 grand, that 200 grand is better deployed into crypto than it is into a business. And here's the reasoning for it. So let's say you have 250 grand to deploy. Over an average bull run, as long as you're not in Bitcoin and Ethereum and you're in first cycle altcoins, a 50 to 120x is relatively normal. So over a 2 to 3 year period of time, you can either take that 250 grand, start a business, maybe make, 50 grand a month or whatever, or you can take that 250 grand, deploy it into crypto, make a 50x. This is conservative. And you have 12.5 million in asset value. 12.5 million. You just made $12 million in 2 years. Try finding a business that does that. So a lot of people need to take this crypto stuff way more serious than they do. And I think people should over allocate their time towards learning about crypto, and then once you learn it, you can pull back. But you need to understand DeFi. You need to understand the synthetic altcoins. I'm so damn bullish on crypto, and I think after you pass a certain amount of monetary value, just the time allocated towards crypto outpaces everything else in terms of how much money you're going to make.
For sure. I always remember Richard talking about too, like if crypto's the thing, if you get it right, if you get that right, if you get nothing else in your life correct, you get crypto correct, if you get rich, then figure out whatever you want to do, but you got to get rich first, and then that's going to set your path forward. But like if you get this thing right, that's why it's so important. That's why we're spending time and energy, hours and hours. That's why we're not outside right now, and that's why we're it feels like almost a full-time job to me, even though I have a job, unfortunately, right now. I feel like I have two jobs because this is something, if I get it correct, can set you up for life. And that's I imagine it's what we're all here for, is own your own time.
And here's the thing. So let's say you have 250 grand, you do a 50x on a bull run, and you exit the top. Let's say you have 8 million after taxes. So 8 million, if you're generating 15% a year, let's say on stablecoins, well, now you have an income of 1.2 million a year. People need to get this into their head. So once you make the profit in crypto, you can yield farm. Obviously, like, subscribe to the first principles, your keys, your coins, no admin keys, immutable, don't give it to exchanges, etc., etc. But man, if you make $8 million of profit this next bull run, you now set yourself up with $1 million a year income and $8 million in asset value. Try finding a business that does that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what you do afterwards. Now you can go find a business that makes the baby gains. Yes.
I mean, that's the thing. Like people need to understand. Like Warren Buffett has this saying where your first 100 grand is the hardest. So you have to start a business to get to 100 grand, or you have to have a very high-paying job or a high-paying sales career because you can control your income there. And then you just want to deploy into the markets. And the moment your portfolio reaches roughly 100 grand to 250 grand during a bear market bottom, not a bull run top. Like Walrus had a great saying, an old live stream or whatever we did. He said the best thing you can invest into in a bear market is a job. And he's so right.
Yeah, Walrus is great. He's an excellent communicator. Walrus. Yeah, I love having him on the show too. He just a wisdom factory. There you go, Walrus. I'll give you the title of Wisdom Factory. Like I feel like, man, what have you not done? What do you not know? That guy's very, very good to listen to. I just want to adjust the Warren Buffett quote. I think the first million is the hardest in crypto. For crypto, I'll adjust it for that. Like the first million, to me at least, feels like the hardest, or felt like the hardest, we'll say.
A lot of people are going to lease that in this run.
Just one question real quick, because I had one on the validator, and we'll move on. TRex, what's happened, TRex? Reward percentage just 3%. It's unclear right now. So Richard sounds like he's adjusting it to make validating more attractive, which is great. I think the 3% number is based on 40K validators on the network. Will we have 40K on mainnet? Don't know. We have more. We have less. If we have less, seems like our APY would go up. How many validators you run? So you need 32 million pulse to run each one. You could run 100 validators. If you sack that much and you want to put that much into validating versus anything else you want to do to it, you could do 10, you could do 50, whatever. So that depends on it. And the price pulse chain, obviously, like when you're earning fees and stuff, you're getting the APY, that factors in as well. And then your hardware, are you renting out a cloud server like I like to do with AWS, or are you building your own at home? You got to pay for electricity and hardware set up in that. Big first time costs versus monthly costs. You got to factor those in, but we don't know exactly on the 3%. And it will be, that's kind of like, again, the APY, the average that we're kind of shooting for, but we'll have to see how the numbers shake out, what in reality it'll be. But I don't think anyone's going to I don't plan on getting rich validating. I'll say that, but I like helping the network. I like helping the community, and I like any way to earn me some more pulse. So that's why I like validating.
It's 3% on the entire supply.
3% on the entire of the supply of the fees.
No, so the inflation of PulseChain to give to the validators, is it 3% on the entire supply or user-owned supply? Would you know?
Interesting.
I think it's total supply, right?
Richard just talked about inflating did he say something about inflating the supply? That's what I'm saying. Like things are changing right now. So he talked about inflating. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is my my mad scientist mind going to work.
Okay.
Richard owns 90%. Okay. Legal gymnastics. Some
Correct
entity
yourself.
somewhere
Yes.
potentially owns 90% of the supply for supply control. If that is true, and the inflation rate on the supply is 3%, but 90% of that cannot be staked because it's owned by an entity, that would mean the actual user-owned inflation is 30%. So if the user-owned inflation is 30% and only 10% can be staked, the validator's rewards could in theory be as high as 30%, because 90% would never touch validators.
Interesting.
It's something interesting to think about.
The counter case to that would be if 90% never goes anywhere, then you're earning less. There's gonna be less transactions and less fees, right? So there's also that.
Yeah, but then it's also the thing. So 90% gets locked, which means that the 90% can never go into a validator. So there's only 10% of the supply that actually can be delegated or given to validators or creating validators. So 10% of the total supply can ever be locked, but there's 3% total supply inflation on the 100%. So if only 10% can be staked, you get the same effect of Hex, where the actual inflation rate is 3.69%, but long-term stakers get 36.9%. Because 10% can only be staked. So this could be something very similar. This is just me thinking out loud.
No, that's a good point. I had not thought about the 90% locked up and how that affects the things as well. Wow. There you go. Going to, what is it? Mic drop. Yeah, APY mic drop. There you go. Validator. Sorry, chat. There's a lot going on. I need to move on though, because I do want to talk about PulseX. I put it in the title. We should talk about it and the news from it as well. And still got a couple other things I want to discuss with Jake before we wrap up here. By the way, you got any time constraints, Jane? You got another 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, like 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah, it's fine. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let's visit Richard's Twitter real quick, because I heard he announced something here. PulseX.com has been upgraded to the latest React engine, the latest Web3 connectors, many more wallets. Report issue has been resolved. Please test upgraded version. Nice. So we got some new features and upgrades for some of the software that PulseX depends on. These are just web frameworks that are used to make things easier, so you don't have to write it from scratch. That's what those are. And then the most important thing here, you can try out the buy and burn. They're the burn feature. So interesting. He didn't say buy and burn. I'm gonna click on it. It does just say burn. What happened to the buy and burn? Yeah. What's your reaction to the buy and burn being live on PulseX today, Jake?
Fucking about time. Jesus Christ. I mean, it was
I thought we were going to launch without it. We can launch without it, Jake. It's not that important. Everyone's saying, I'm like, we're not launching without buy and burn. I'm pretty sure we're not launching without buy and burn.
I mean, yeah, the community can be a little bit harder on it. I mean, not everybody has to suck as big though. The way that Tesla V3 launched was kind of embarrassing. Like PulseX launched, the bridge didn't even work. PulseX buy and burn contracts weren't even live yet. It's a great move for price performance, so I liked it. But now he can slowly roll it out, and essentially the rollout of the Pulse RAM opening up, buy and burn contract working. Can you go to trade and exchange on limit orders? Is that feature working? Max, can you check?
Go to where again?
Trade and then exchange, and then you should see it somewhere in the middle. Yeah, so limit order feature is not available yet, but that was available on Tesla V2B. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like a rollout.
Okay. So you think limit
orders? I hope
we
get limit orders at launch.
Yeah, you think limit orders? Yeah, I've been doing some LP stuff lately. I'm kind of like, you can provide LP in a range to make a delayed limit order. Essentially a limit order in that way. You just, it's not going to move the price. In all the ways that market orders and limit orders do. But I mean, definitely limit orders. I didn't even think about that being here. That's a thing. What else? Like, what is their MVP for launch? What do you think we must have with PulseChain and PulseX? Obviously, validators. I'll say on my side, validators been working much better the last week or two. They were some stuff they had to work through and issues and all that, but those have gotten fixed, so that's hopeful. But what do you think we need to have? What is the must-haves before launch?
Buy and burn contract for PulseX, the Pulse RAM bridge. Yeah, because the reason on the info page everything shows as zero liquidity and zero price is because there's no bridge between the Coeli testnet and testnet v3. The moment that bridge opens from pulseram.com, everything will just populate. So then you will actually see the data. So the next feature that's coming up is limit orders. They have to make it v3 ready, which they almost had a year to do, which is kind of confusing. But then, I mean, we're close. That's not mainnet. Jesus Christ, PulseChain mainnet is close. I'm excited. It's also kind of smart because now you get these slow like feature rollouts and it's an announcement and it gets people to buy hacks. So for price chart reasons, the way he's doing it is good. It was just kind of anticlimactic. It's like you go on Tinder, you find a hot girl, and then you meet her in person and she's fat.
I was gonna say
that's kind of how I felt.
You want to meet, but then she can't meet for like 3 weeks. She's legit, but you can't meet for like 3 weeks or so. That kind of thing.
And then she ends up being fat. Yeah, luckily PulseChain will not be fat. That should be good.
Yeah, only thing fat I want from PulseChain is the wallets. I want some fat wallets. But what do you think is next? Do you think PulseRamp is next? I think I'm going to lose my mind if PulseRamp is like he tweets that. I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, true. Yep. PulseRamp is a big one, and then limit orders. Those are the only two ones I know that are left. Apparently, validators haven't been looking into that stuff. Validators have been improving. They increased the rewards. We're close, man. Like PulseChain mainnet is close. Close.
Well, why is the ramp important? Why are bridges important for testnet even? What is that? Why is that exciting?
It's to show the data. So if you go to click on the 3 dots and then info. 3 dots, info. Yep, and scroll down. You see all the liquidity and prices are 0. And that's because there's nothing to compare it to. So once the pulseram.com bridge opens from Coeli testnet, because the previous testnet from Ethereum got shut down. I don't remember the name. Robst, I don't know. I don't remember the name. Some testnet.
Yeah, Robst.
Yep. So once that opens up, the liquidity pools will be working, price will be working, charts will show up. So that's not broken. A lot of people think that's broken, but it's not. That will be fixed once the bridge works.
What is Shibarium? I've never even seen some of these tokens before. Shibarium. That's funny. I've seen that one, but interesting. Top tokens, top pools. Yeah, here we go. Here's some. So the pool. So are these pools that are? I think these are pools that are live right now. They're just that we don't have any data, or is they're not live?
No, they're live. Data just as because there's no bridge. Yep.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Okay. So I haven't played with the other pools other than the Pulse and PulseX pool, the PLP pool, which is pretty interesting too. Interesting. Yeah, everyone, if you haven't played with the PulseX portal at all, especially then we got the burn feature, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it works too. Like, you can make trades, you can see the pulls, you can put up liquidity, all kinds of cool stuff.
Sure. It's gonna be good ones. Yeah, because we were all part of like the PulseChain sacrifice, man. That's been 2 years ago. That was like back in my childhood. The good old days when we gave our money to a twerking Gucci guy on the internet. The good days.
Was he doing Gucci at that point? Was he? I thought he kind of pivoted. What was he doing? He was pretty fancy. I've been clipping RH videos. I got him coming out every Thursday for the next 2 years. So if you subscribe, you can see RH. If you don't have to, if I stop making content, you'll still see RH vintage stuff for a long time. And I remember clipping stuff around the PulseChain launch. And I do remember he was wearing he wasn't quite decked out, but he was getting ready to be decked out in all the stuff and all the LV stuff. It's around the time he got the duck. He got the duck and the airplane and all that stuff. Oh, good times.
Man, I remember. Yeah, I'm so happy he switched his branding because like one of the streams, like he didn't stream for a long time and then he streamed. And we were expecting PulseChain updates. And then for the first 30 minutes of the stream, he was talking about Louis Vuitton stuff. I bought this and I bought that. Dude, I wanted to punch a hole through my screen. I was like, seriously?
If you've been around for a while, you remember the watch. He did the watch interview. He did. The only one that was kind of like a throwback was when he did it with the bikini girl. And I posted that clip recently when he talked about how to check a fake Rolex. And that was, man, a lot of people didn't like that stream. I thought it was, all right. I thought, it was just,
that was a good stream.
I don't have a problem with that stream really. But then later on, he starts actually going into what was the streams he did? He did the watch one, and then he did the unboxing too. I remember. You remember the like the 30-minute, and he's in all the gold outfit. Crazy. He showed the bear.
Oh.
And there's like memes. There's these GIF memes you can get on Twitter and stuff too of him like running back and forth in the sweatshirt.
Yeah, that one was hilarious. I remember that one. Oh man, those were gold memes.
So
yeah, man, but you're a massive asset to the community. I watch a lot of your videos. It's good.
Thank you. I would say it's no sweat, but there's a lot of sweat involved. But gotta have utility. Or if you don't, then what are you doing? What are you doing out here? Somebody had a question. Mark G. Here we go. Why would you launch it when it was ready on V2? Is the code much different? Yeah, you want to take that one?
Why would you launch when it was ready on V2? Is the code that much different? Yeah, I mean, PulseX isn't that much different, but the entire chain is different. The V2B was a fork of BSC, which they changed, Binance Smart Chain. Then Ethereum 2.0 came out. So everything in the backend is a completely different blockchain. So yeah, V3 is a massive difference from V2B. It's just everything from a user experience point of view is pretty much the exact same. So yeah, it's like a new blockchain, essentially.
Interesting comment from Money Gang. Shout out to Money Gang. One of the best intros I've ever seen, although he doesn't use that one anymore, but fantastic intro. The one that gotta pump it up, gotta pump. I love that intro. I'm gonna use it one day just to throw one off if he would allow me. I think RH is deliberately delaying releasing features to keep updates occurring for price appreciation hex every update. Yeah, what you think there's anything to that?
That's exactly. Yep, I like it.
Well,
anything to manipulate.
It went from 12 cents to 8 cents. So is it working?
Yeah. I mean, we went from 1.7 cents to 12 cents. A 40% correction is relatively normal. I don't think anybody should be worried about anything.
Exactly. Well, I think people are voting with their money too. Like I think if the big people who mattered, who were buying the price up, the whales and stuff were getting ready for these copies, if they thought PulseChain was close, the price wouldn't be at 8 cents, would it? Like, wouldn't you think it would be at least again, no crystal ball or financial advice, but like it seems like we would see this huge pump coming just by the market activity alone, or the reflection of the hex price, if people actually thought PulseChain was that close. I'm not saying it's months away. I just don't think it's days away.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, I might as well ask you while we're on the topic. When PulseChain, sir? When are you thinking?
Mid-May.
Somebody's gonna ask it anyways. I might as well be me. Let's do it.
Mid-May seems pretty good. You remember the meme, and he said last year mid-May we were gonna launch. He never said what year.
It's still
and at that point I was like, ha, good joke. And now I'm like, God damn it, it could be true.
It's one of those like the cycles. We need like the meme of like cycles of a PulseChain sacrificer. It's so close. It's so close. It's so close. And then like a year later, it's like, oh God, he said mid-May. Oh, it's so close. It's so close. And then after mid-May, it's like, huh. And then like beginning in 2023, it's like, oh, sadness, tear sadness. Everything's so bad. Please, Dev, more updates. And then January, February, March, it's like, it is mid-May. It is mid-May. Like stuff like that. Man, someone make the psychological journey of a PulseChain sacrificer meme. I would love to see that.
Yep. I mean, a lot of people sacrificed or got their family to sacrifice with their friends. Like us in the ecosystem in the know, we're fine. But try to explain it to your grandma. That's when it gets very weird. I'm like, I swear to God, we did not lose our money.
Yeah.
Just don't look at it hard. Now she can now she can look at him. But back then was like, it didn't launch for like a year and a half, and then all of a sudden you saw him like flexing with like Ferraris and Gucci and Prada.
Oh, man.
I'm like, just don't look at it, your heart. Close your eyes.
Grammy, please unsubscribe from Richard Hart for a while. Just your $2 million is safe, I promise. Hilarious, man. Red Squirrel says mid, maybe. I keep saying I've said April or mid-May. It's 2 weeks ago everyone was like anytime, 48 hours, but like as someone who's trying to get their validator set up 2 weeks ago, I'm like, guys, we need more time. And back to the dev part, even the dev side of me is like, you need time. You need to test stuff. Like all the features aren't even there. Like, why would he rush it? We've been doing this stuff for 2 years. Why would he rush it now? Why was it 48 hours now? Like what is he timing that's going to happen in the next 48 hours?
Hey, but that's the thing. Apparently, there's some very deep alpha in the community because all the hot chicks, they know all of the developers and they give all the updates. It's great marketing. Like we have
That's how it works.
we have a feed swap team. I like it.
Our media team is out of control. I'll say that. Our PulseChain media team is like, we got it on the lock. I don't interact with a lot of other communities. I'll say that to set the frame this, but I've never seen people in our community do what we do.
Yes.
Like, we're the best. Like, we are the best. This is the best community for media, marketing, galaxy brains. Like, somebody show me a better one. I've never seen it. It's insane.
Yeah, and even the girls in the community, they're doing a freaking amazing job. Even though there's memes about it, man, they're doing an amazing job. Massive amount of reach. The information is good. It keeps the hype alive. Like this whole hot chick SWAT team, I love it. It's so good for marketing.
Yes. KDP.
And the smart.
Hexvid. What's her name? Hexavid? Something like that.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Hexvid.
Richard's brother knows. Yeah, did you see the stuff about Richard's brother recently? What's going on?
And I hope that's an April 1st joke. I don't know if I have to believe it or not.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I need some proof. I don't know anything about it. I just know that there's apparently some guy who says he's Richard's brother. Maybe is, maybe isn't. Doesn't matter. I mean, probably not. But it's just one of those wild stories that just came across recently.
Yep.
I wanted to, let's see, where can we go? Testing here. Yeah. Everyone remember Nomics? I had to leave this up. I was like, I'm going to leave it up because if I hit refresh, it's going to be gone.
Man, I miss it. I went to Nomic. Now I use Coin Paprika.
Some people loved it. Some people hate it. Some people's like good riddance. Some people, for me, it's the only site that ranked Hex relatively accurately that had the calculator, which I used a lot. And now just use Coinbase has a calculator, which is fine. You can use that. I'm sure there's 10,000 other ones. And it had a ranking. So I'm totally fine using TradingView or Uniswap.info for Hex token to look at price and stuff. However, they don't have the ranking. And, you always like, it's a little bit, you like to look at the ranking. It's cool. So that was my thing, was like, the ranking's gone. And where do we go? Where do people go if they want to see a ranking of Hex accurately? Do you know?
Nah, Coin Paprika. Pretty much, but that website looks like garbage. I like the Nomics UI.
Yeah, should I do it, Jake? Should we end it?
You mean close Nomics?
I'm going to hit refresh, and it's going to say GFY if I hit refresh.
It's going to say we're pussies, we're out.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, you have to be honest though. Like Nomics, I'm pretty sure the whole PulseChain community and Hex community was pretty much 40% of their traffic.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Like, people are like, oh, why didn't they? I think maybe Alex from Hedron or Ju Young from HSI Watch. They may have been. I think there was some Hedron stuff that was inaccurate or something. They were reaching out for people probably the last few weeks, and Alex was like, oh, that explains a lot when Nomics is down. Like, yeah. It probably didn't make the list of things to do, reply to you about your token stuff when they're like shutting down operations. So it all makes sense after we see that.
You can also use dexscreener.com, but that one is more of there's too much staring at you. There's too much information. So Coin Paprika is second best.
Yeah. Dex Screener I like for, it's good for some stuff. It's good for, looking at, for example, transactions and like buys and sells and stuff, liquidity. A few other things. You can do charts on there too. I like TradingView. I'll just pull that up there. TradingView Hex I think that's my go-to. That's my icon on my phone and stuff when I look at it now. So, and you can do this, which I like. Ooh, so pretty. So anyways, I wanted to hit this too because I thought this was a important topic. We'll go back to crypto in a few minutes to wrap things up, but this link I'm going to drop in the chat, and I wanted to discuss it because I thought this is from the OpenAI founder, Sam Altman. And this is something he wrote back in 2020. And I was listening to the Lex Fridman podcast with him recently, and he referenced this. I think Lex or him brought it up about, this is like a super popular blog post, very concise. It really he really synthesizes and puts things into a nice little box to think about different principles he holds and just different ways to look at things. And I was scrolling through it and I thought, wow, this is a lot of stuff we've talked about before, wealth mindset, a lot of stuff that, there's just a ton of overlap and a ton of really interesting things that he believes and thinks about. Just make yourself better, especially in crypto. You don't want to be a dummy. You want to be wealthy in your mind. You want to be wealthy in your pocket, but you got to get smart not to screw it up. And so when he talks about, for example, compound yourself, if your business grows 50% value in every year, it can be a huge, very short amount of time. The whole concept of compound interest, I like to say these days, I'm in love with compound interest. I was like, oh, why do you clip all this stuff? Why do you, 2 years Richard Hart videos? All this? I'm like, I love compound interest. I love having things, make money, or having things go out when I'm asleep. Things come out at 5 a.m, my time, a lot of times. I love waking up and saying, okay, it's already out. People got to see it. I don't need to do anything. I do all my thumbnails in batch. So I love just in life, I love compound interest in that way. So that's super important as well. And we'll go through a couple of them, but what do you think? I know, you haven't had a lot of time to look at it yet either, but some of these principles: get good at sales. That's something that kind of reminded you, makes me think of Alex Hormozy. Not sales in like this greasy marketing, want to sell you something way. It's sales in I want to give you something valuable. I want to give you, Alex Hormozy's quote is, make them an offer so good, they'd be stupid to refuse it, like that. So yeah, you maybe want to riff on like get good at sales or something, or one of these for a moment.
Everything in life is sales. Like, a lot of people think about sales like used car salesmen, but sales is everything. Why do you think the Richard Hart community is so strong? It's because he sold this on his beliefs. That was sales. That was not anything else. You can sell people on beliefs. You can sell people on doing things that are better for their life, for their family, for their kids, for their legacy. If you cannot communicate, so there's a crap ton of smart people in the world that don't achieve anything because it's impossible for them to communicate their good ideas to the world. And sales is that. I think if you replace sales with persuasion, you look at it differently. Because sales has a lot of connotation to it. Persuasion does not. Persuasion is something good. Sales is something bad. So just reframe sales with persuasion, and it should be good. I think, yeah, because even like the sales stuff I was taught, it's a lot of question-based frameworks. It's making people. So, like, for instance, I used to drill this a lot because I was like door-to-door sales and stuff like that. The kind of way of sales I was taught is getting people to sell themselves. A lot of hard sales doesn't work anymore. In this world, in the digital economy, people are educated. People do research. People watch you. People have information coming in that back in the day they did not have. So people could be hard sold back in the day, but nowadays they don't. They see all of the options out there online. They pick the best one. They have all of the education. They have all of the information at their fingertips. So you want to get people to sell themselves. So you ask questions like, are you comfortable with that? I'm open to doing this. Is that something you're cool with? Where do you want to go from here? Do you feel like this might be what you're looking for? How do you feel about this? Can I be honest? Are you sure? All of these, like, a question-based sales is basically the game nowadays. It's getting people to sell themselves and getting them feeling comfortable with the decision that they're about to make, and they do it completely out of their own merit. That's how you do sales nowadays. Anybody that does hard selling nowadays is broke, because that's no longer how the world operates. And that's also how you communicate. So selling people on ideas is everything, especially with content, because you're trying to sell people on your belief system because you believe it's better for them to believe what you believe instead of what they believe. Because the results in your life are better than whatever results they have. So it's in your best interest to communicate in as much of a persuasive way as humanly possible to get them to believe your belief system, because it will make them a better human and give them a better life. So persuasion is the game. I look at Sam Altman. Like, this dude built OpenAI, which is very likely going to be the most valuable company in the entire world. And he says to learn sales. So anybody that thinks sales is a nasty thing, you're shooting yourself in the foot in a massive way. Just replace sales with persuasion, and you'll be good.
I like that. Replace sales with persuasion. Persuasion, influence, two super important skills to have.
Yep.
Like, there's certain skills that just elevate you and amplify you. I guess that's the word that RH talks a lot about in Scivive. There's different amplifiers. What you are now, what you can be, and what you will be. I think that's roughly the categorization and the ethos of Scivive. So I love all these amplifier skills like persuasion, influence, money can be used to amplify, focus, like compound interest. All these can make you better than you are now. And if you think you're good enough, then that's fine too. But I think it goes back to like scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. A lot of this getting better stuff is people just aren't interested. They don't care. I want to map this back to delayed gratification versus the instant gratification, delayed, or the instant highs and stuff like that. It's either people don't believe if they do this, it'll work for them, or they don't see the short-term benefits of doing it now. Like one of those things will talk them out of doing just about anything. So that's something I came across. It's like, why can't, you can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. How can you tell people something that's so obviously true and beneficial for them, and they just don't care? I think it boils down to like a couple of those things.
Yep, 100%.
Be bold, be willful. Yeah, this is something I really need to. I think I'm going to print this out myself and go through each one and kind of make notes on it because I haven't had time to consume this a lot myself.
This is something interesting. So just forget that this is Sam Altman. Look at it as just a general blog post. This advice could be written by somebody that has $5 to their name or a billionaire. The fact that this is Sam Altman and he gives the same advice that any kind of personal development YouTuber gives is one of the big things you learn in persuasion. Is if you want to get somebody to believe something, you can never get them to believe it if you don't believe it yourself. Ed Milet has a saying where sales is not about convincing people. Sales is about making people believe that you believe what you believe. It's about convincing others that you believe what you believe. So the whole personal development thing and all of this advice, if it's just like a broke dude writing this, it's the exact same advice as a billionaire. And there's a saying where that I like a hell of a lot. I don't know who it's from, but it goes to who you are speaks so loud that I cannot hear what you're saying. I like that one a lot. Yep. Sure. Yeah. And especially with kids. Like, kids look up to their father, not on the things they say, but the person they are.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of don't tell me, show me type of things.
Yep.
It's so important. Yeah, for parents or even for friendships. I mean, people believe you a lot more if you do what you say you're going to do. Just do it. Like, prioritize doing it. We all make mistakes. We can't be perfect. But if you're known as someone who has good judgment, or shows up on time, or does whatever it is, you do what you say you're going to do, and you don't overpromise, and you try to make it right with people. I mean, that's
yes. Yeah. There's this one quote from Alex Ramosi that I absolutely love. So what he says, and I watch this like almost every day. I have it saved. He says that he talks about confidence, and the words that he chose was, "You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt." That's deep.
Yes. Wow.
I love that quote, man.
I like that. I'll trade you one with Naval too. It reminds me of when he talks about, says your resume is like all the and maybe it's Naval, maybe he got it from somewhere else too, or someone else says some rendition of it, but your resume is like all your scars. Like, all the scars you have is like your real resume. Doesn't matter what your LinkedIn says, doesn't matter what you put on a PDF or whatever. Like, have you been through the hard times and made it out the other side and been successful? Like, that's your real resume.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, I just want to share this with everyone too, and kind of riff on a little bit with you, because I found it super useful. And again, you don't have to pretend that OpenAI guy wrote it. Anyone could say this advice, but you can see a super successful person writing this before he became mega successful. I mean, he's always relatively successful, but now ChatGPT and OpenAI is what it is today. And who imagines what it's going to be in the next later on this decade? So he said this, and from what I can see, he's doing it, and it worked for him. So could work for you as well.
Yeah, 100%. And even like with the whole AI thing, AI is interesting, man. Like, if we go down in a Terminator kind of way, the entire world, well, at least we go out in a blaze of glory. We created the thing that destroyed us. That's kind of a cool way to go out. I'd rather get destroyed by our own creations than get destroyed by a meteor.
That's
Like,
true.
we're so good, we created something that was better than us and it killed us. It's kind of
Don't want to go out with a. Don't want to go out with. Actually, either way going out with a whimper. We're kind of going out with a bang either way. But I like the. I want to imagine the buy and burn. I want to go out by the buy and burn. It was pressed too many times, and then the robots got smart, and then it happened.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. It's just, man, the way AI is evolving, it's going to be exponential. Like, it's going to be wild. I'm curious to see where it goes.
It is crazy. I think, the ChatGPT is finally there's a product to scare us a little bit. Like, finally there's something so amazing that we're like, whoa, like, do we need to take a pause? Do we need to like go full steam ahead? Like, something out of the tech world has like made an impact that's so profound that they're changing how, okay, now should there be an age limit on using it? Because kids, what do we value? Do we want them to cheat on the test? Do we, or write essays? Who owns it? There's all these like interesting problems that came out of it as well. So finally something interesting happened. That was my response when it came out.
Yeah, good point.
I'll talk to the chat real quick, but I had one other. Let's see. Just looking at the list. Yeah, I want to ask you about LP real quick too. So it sounds like you're a little bit familiar with it. I don't know if you're doing it. Is that something that you do to make fees, or is something you just played around with before?
I like making money, so I don't really touch LP. LPing is great. Like, if you do it during a range, like for instance the bear market bottom, and you put it between like 5 cents and 1.5 cents, and you just kind of make fees the entire way. If you know it's going to be operating within a range for a while, then it's fine. But if you try to do it in periods like this, when you know the PulseChain mainnet is coming up, you're pretty much going to sell out of your entire hex position when the PulseChain mainnet news comes, because the price is just going to run way higher than your liquidity position. And instead of experiencing the pump, you just sold the pump, but way too early. So liquidity providing, I only look at it for exiting positions.
Interesting for exits. Yeah, I mean, again, you can look at it as a delayed limit order in that way. With fees, you get paid for selling instead of paying to sell in a way. So I think that's a pretty interesting way to look at it. Do you think, is there a good time to get into? Is there a time where you can say, oh, LP is going to be crazy? Like maybe when PulseX comes out, is it getting in early? Are there any strategies to make the best APY volatility times? I guess around PulseChain launching. I know right now maybe LP will be pulled on from a lot of pools. A lot of positions be pulled because people want the PX, all that stuff. There's actually been some interesting stuff around which pairs will be pulled. There's some nuance around that. I've talked about on Twitter with Synergy and other people as well that have been brought up. Do you see strategies to take advantage of LP during this kind of launch time, after launch, getting in early, getting in volatility?
Yes, don't do it. There's one time that you never want to do LP, and that's during a launch, because you're almost guaranteed to sell the best performing things for the least performing thing. So if you want to sell, like for instance, PLSX, if you want to sell all of your PLS for PLSX, you could put a liquidity pool there if your goal is to go from PLS to PLSX. But nah, I would wait for, like for instance, PLS to PLSX. I would just wait for them to get a stronger ratio together, and then you can start LPing once there's like a market agreed ratio between the two. Maybe just hovers between 3-1 forever, and then yeah, it's fine at that point. But when the market is trying to find the ratio between the two, you do not want to be LPing. I think that's how a lot of people are going to get wrecked. So LP, wait at least 2 to 3 months for ratios to be decided on by the market.
So you're kind of afraid. So for example, so you could say, if you like both coins, especially if you know there's a lot of trading going on it, why wouldn't you do PulseX to PulseChain to PulseX, liquidity providing, earn fees? You like both coins, then permanent losses is, I love both coins. But you're thinking that the angle is you don't know what the ratios will be. So it sounds like you think that one ratio may be much higher, and that the impermanent loss, at least in the short term, would actually matter.
Yeah, and you saw that with the launch of testnet v3, the ratios got massively skewed. It went. Yeah, I think the market is going to settle between a 3 3.5 to 1, like 3.5 PulseX to 1 Pulse. Seems like relatively normal between the two. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of LP, especially going from bear market to bull market. Because you can earn yield without risking a permanent loss just by single side staking your PLSX or validating your Pulse. So you don't have to take that risk. Yeah.
Interesting. So just on the ratio too. So you think 3.5 PulseX to 1 PLS. So PulseChain will be the more valuable one?
Oh, yeah, 100%. The chain is always more valuable than anything on the chain.
You want to elaborate on your rationale behind that? Just because some people are like, oh, PulseX is gonna be the best. Just curious.
So the way these ecosystems usually work is the blockchain pumps first and then the ecosystem follows. There's nothing on Ethereum that is worth more than Ethereum, at least currently. So I think even if PulseX, the buy and burn goes nuts and the price goes nuts, and it's valued roughly the same as PulseChain, I just think it's going to drag PulseChain up with it. Because if something... So Richard Hart kind of talks about this whole like dumb pipes analogy where like... what was it again with the network is not more valuable than the endpoint? I don't think that applies to crypto because crypto is 100% narrative. I don't think people can accept the fact that something on the chain is worth more than the chain because people can invest in the chain. So I think if PulseX starts outpacing PulseChain will go up with it because people cannot accept. It's just an accepted market narrative where nothing is worth more than the L1. I think it's going to be that way for a very long time. I don't think PulseX will break that mold.
Interesting. I would say on the way Richard talks about it too, I think he would or he has used the analogy of the telephone company, the ISPs and stuff. But so in that, if we could fit that into it, I would say maybe it's like a long-term vision, like eventually, the PulseChain, the game, like just like Ethereum, right? Like there's everything launching on Ethereum has more chance of doing a 10x or 100x than Ethereum right now, right? So maybe it's like a time horizon type of thing that's the nuance within that example. Yeah.
Another way you could look at it is, let's say PulseChain is the App Store and then PulseX is an app on the App Store. Could you ever see an app on the App Store being worth more than Apple that owns the App Store? I think people would just kind of go, okay, this app, the App Store is generating $600 million in revenue every year. Like as an example, I don't know the numbers. My guess is the market would value the App Store at more than $600 million, or the company that owns the App Store at more than $600 million, because the App Store alone is generating $600 million of revenue, so the company is worth more than $600 million. Because the market is never rational. Look at Tesla. Tesla is the perfect example of the whole like crypto/social media ecosystem coming into the stock market. Tesla is just completely at zero to do with earnings, to like PE ratios, price to earnings ratios. Yeah. It's just like, it's basically just social media and it's crypto. So I think the whole investment world is changing towards social media style investing, where the thing with the best marketing and the best community will dominate everything else. Look at how Tesla outperformed everything.
Their founder put you replaced the bird logo with the dog logo recently. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep, man,
crazy.
I love it.
I never thought that happened in my life. Yeah, I'm like bullish for crypto when I saw that.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, I didn't. So I was, I considered buying Doge, but then I didn't, and I made a good choice because when it was happening, Doge was like at 10 cents. Like currently it's at 9.3, so it didn't really move at all. In fact, it went down, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday Night Live, it crashed after that performance too, which it's funny dog stuff, and their good friend Elon Musk. I'll just go through a couple questions. Chat, I can't get all your questions. You have a lot of great ones. I'm just going to read a few and scroll up a little bit. But A-Bit says, what do you think about PLSX being the most liquid pair for every token on the chain?
Nah, I think it's going to be PulseChain. The L1 is always the most liquid pair because everything gets paired with the chain. Even on Binance Smart Chain, it's always BNB and then the token, and then USDC and the token. I guess it's actually it's interesting.
Could you make the case for PulseX doing that? Like, what would have to happen for PulseX to be paired more than PLS?
Don't know.
Just curious if there's like something that would be like, okay, definitely everyone's gonna be pairing it because of this reason. Okay. Mike James, I'd rather get hit by a meteor than AI Terminators are ruthless. That's true. I've saw those movies. They are ruthless.
Think about it though. If the goal of AI is to do things in the most efficient way possible, at least they won't hurt you when they end you. It will be clean, precise, and straight to the point.
Yeah, yep. That's true. That's they'll have some sharp swords or bullets or whatever they choose to use at that point. Maybe just be lasers at that point. There's like no more like those will be old school techniques. They'll be just lasers or like a mind thing. I'm Andreas. It's a sci-fi hour on the RHMax show. I'm Andreas. Some clarity on the reward for burning your LP on PulseX. Yeah, you got anything on that?
Burning
Jake?
your LP?
Burning
no, I think it's a misunderstanding because you don't burn your LP. Maybe he can clarify.
Reward. Yeah, Andreas, you want to clarify because you just said the same question twice on here. Yeah, if you want to clarify, I'll try to put it back up here. Mark G, Jake, do you prefer using Python Web3, getting data from the ETH chain? There's a better way. Trying to figure out a good plan. Have you used any Web3?
If you just want to get Web3.js is pretty cool, but when you want to get data from the Ethereum chain, you just use like Infura or whatever. Well, yeah, Web3 is a good API key. Yeah, there's a couple libraries. Web3 is a big one. Another big one is, I don't remember the names by heart, but there's like two relatively big ones.
I've got some code actually I can share on that real quick. I wrote a Web3 hex deal. Yeah, check this out. Who is this? Mark G. I have some code, and there's a blog post on the blog as well that you can look at, and it uses Infura. You get an API key, and it'll query for hex stuff. So maybe that'll help you out.
Two big ones are Web3.js and ETH.js.
Yeah, I've used the Web3. I haven't used, so I used it with Anvil, this Python online like hosted. It's pretty cool. It's like AWS for Python apps, for web Python apps too. Yeah. Let's see. Alio says ETH upgrade goes perfect next week. Banking crash to get worse. XRP wins case SEC. Crypto pumps. Yeah. What do you think? Any of the recent news equals we pump harder?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive. Bad news in the traditional system is good news for crypto. Like even when you saw when the banking collapse was kind of happening with SVB going down, Silicon Valley Bank, crypto pumped. When you have to exit one position to enter another position, there's only one option, and that's crypto or precious metals. But who cares about gold? I couldn't care less about gold. I think it's useless.
Don't hate on my gold, okay? Don't hate on my gold. It's not useless.
Man, because even in crypto, there's still people like, yeah, but gold, bro. I'm like, dude, have you looked at the chart? My God.
The trick is you don't look at the chart, Jake. You don't look at the chart. You just buy it and hold it for 50 years, okay? And hopefully through some banking crisis, you can trade. Yes.
I mean, it's like the perfect example. Gold is like MySpace, and Bitcoin is like Facebook. So would you go back to the oldest kind of technology, which is gold, or would you go to the digital equivalent, which is Bitcoin, which moves faster, is globally transacted, has the biggest brand, has the biggest marketing, has the biggest community, is still early on in its S-curve compared to gold? Like, if you're in crypto and you still invest in gold, I don't know what your mind is. You've probably just been brainwashed.
And PulseChain is like TikTok, maybe. Crypto Truth, benefits of delegating versus staking. Get anything on that, Jake?
I don't know. I don't think we have delegation anymore with PulseChain.
Yeah, that went away with BSC. I'm not sure what I know you could delegate your stake to a validator and earn PulseChain from that. I think that was the way it used to be. I'm not 100% certain. And then with staking, well, you can stake, you do the liquidity pool stuff, and then as a validator, you can earn fees. So that's the best resolution I can think of on that one. Crypto Truth. One more question. Any portfolio tips for someone new entering the Hex ecosystem?
You want to buy on dips, you don't want to buy pumps. Hex is currently on a nice dip from like the 12 cents. Hex also has ecosystem pumps coming up at your PulseChain mainnet. So if you know how to play that correctly, you're good. If you feel incredibly uncomfortable buying Hex, just stay in stablecoins if you really want to play that game and just normally dollar cost average into PulseChain or PulseX. I would recommend PulseX because you're going to get a better entry. But don't feel like you're in a rush. I like Hex right now because it has very strong narrative. Yeah, and just watch a bunch of streams. As long as you go into it with the right expectation of the bull run and when to take profit and what to expect, you should be fine. Because you can buy Hex now and potentially be down like 20 to 30%, but then when the PulseChain mainnet comes, you could be up at 2 to 3x on your position. And then you can decide whether or not you want to take profit and redeploy into the whole PulseChain ecosystem you can choose. But yeah, massive focus on the PulseChain ecosystem because that's a new ecosystem going live and those usually do very well.
So it sounds like you think Hex number is going to go up into the launch and then a big sell-off from there after you get to PX. Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, very likely. Sell off, then kind of recover, get back to parity, and then things are normal again. And it's going to be very bumpy for like the first 2 months of the PulseChain ecosystem. But if you just close your eyes, it's like nothing happens.
Go on vacation for a couple months and come back and be like, all right, now my body is ready.
Yep.
All right, man. Excellent conversation. Always love having you on the show. This got to be I want to say 5th time. I think 2 wealth mindsets, and you've been on solo twice. This is the 3rd time, if I'm counting this correctly. So number 5, Jake. Welcome to the 5 Club. Welcome to the 5 Club.
By the way, I have a question. How tall are you? You fucking tower over everybody in pictures.
I will not dox my height, but taller than average. I'll say that. Let's say 25% taller than average. Oh, you got me on centimeters now. I don't know if I can. I don't even know the conversion.
6'3".
So I'll give you a hint. So Dip Catcher and Gold Key, the Maximus guys, are very large individuals, and I have a similar body type to them. So I'll drop that hint. So if you can figure that out, I'll put you on a little scavenger hunt. You figure that out, and then you'll get my secret.
Gold Key is a playboy, bro.
Dude,
yep, I can see it.
He's awesome.
Yep.
I like Gold Key a lot. Or come to a Hex meetup sometime, and you can feel free to. I mean, don't bring like a ruler or anything. That'd be kind of weird, but you can stand next to me.
My defense, because I'm just 6 foot. I'm like 180 centimeters. So when girls ask, I'm 6 foot. That's the rule.
Nice.
And but my defense is if somebody is taller than me, I can beat them in a fight because I used to be a fighter. That's my defense,
dude. If
makes
you
me
feel
good about myself.
Hey man, if you're close to 6 feet as a male, then I think you're doing pretty good. And if you got fighting skills and confidence, you're doing even better. I know nothing to feel bad about 6 feet. You can be too tall. I don't want to be like NBA height. I don't want my kids to be NBA height. Like you can be too tall. I think for like where it starts. There's a threshold. There's like a curve that starts going down. Your satisfaction stuff. But yeah, I'll say I'm a little bit taller than you. How about that, Jake? I'll give you that one.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm not sure I'm as strong, man. I've seen your videos. You got some strength. If that thumbnail is correct, boy, you've been putting in work.
Hey, dude, I'm athletic. I can do backflips on the ground. I can do handstand push-ups, muscle-ups. I'm like very big in calisthenics, so I'm strong. I like it.
I can do backflips in the pool.
Hey,
there's that.
Crazy.
Jake, for anyone who somehow doesn't know who you are or where to find you, where can people see your stuff?
Look up Jake Sharpe on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then also on Twitter, it's NKNows. You'll find it on my YouTube. Just click on my best stuff on Twitter, and then the live streams I do on YouTube are usually very well received. People very like them a lot. And then Cash Flow for Life is kind of like the business I run. You can check that out if you want. It's a crypto mastermind, but primarily Jake Sharpe on YouTube.
Jake Sharpe on YouTube, and yeah, man. Thanks for joining me today. Excellent conversation as always. I'd love to have you on the show. Anything you want to take us out on? Any final notes? Any secret sauce? Any looking forward for I want us to get legal sounding forward-looking statements? What do you want to send us off on?
Well, if we don't get killed by AI, we'll be very rich this next bull run. So I'd highly recommend everybody kind of joining the live stream late. Watch the first 10 minutes because we came in hand swinging and guns blazing. So the first 10 minutes were good. Yep.
First 10 minutes were good, and it all went up and down from there. No, I think it went. It was like this steady decline. Look at a Bitcoin chart when it's going up in the bull market. Those kind of baby gains, but we kept it going up. So there's that. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys on Friday. Got Dixon Piper coming on. No show tomorrow. I don't think. I'll check my schedule. I don't think there is. And with that, Scivive and 5555. Everyone, we are out.